Hi everyone, this is Cheryl and this is Manny. I'm going to demonstrate how to put this border on a quilt. Now in the middle of this quilt is a piece of panel fabric, which is one solid piece. So you can even put this border on a panel fabric. So on this border it's got 1, 2, 3 different fabrics on it. So it's suitable for any quilt and it's really easy to do. So let's get started. If you're not sure how to select the colors for your border, look at the quilt that you've made. And it doesn't matter if it's a pieced quilt or a pre-printed panel like this. So I've selected this beige, the gold, and the green that I would like to highlight in the quilt. And I've selected the following fabrics. So here is my beige and the gold and the green. If you're putting this border on a pre-printed panel, make sure you square the panel up and trim any edges that need to be done. I'm going to cut from this little line, gold line here, I'm going to go out 3/4 of an inch and trim it straight. So I'm going to go around to all the sides and cut my edges. Measure the 2 longest edges of your quilt first and then add 1 inch to that. My quilt here measures 41.5 inches. So I'm going to cut 2 strips that are 42.5 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. Lay your strips along the edge and make sure you have a little bit of fabric hanging out past each end. We'll cut that off later. So stitch it on 1/4 inch on each side. After you have stitched it on, press your seams on the back side, then unfold and press the seams on top, pressing your seams going away from the center of the quilt. After you have stitched the border on the 2 longest edges, then it's time to trim the ends off straight. So you want to line your ruler up along the edge of your quilt top and trim these corners off and go around to all 4 corners, trimming them off. Now measure the 2 shorter sides. You're going to measure from the side of this border strip from here all the way over to here. Then cut 2 strips out that are 1 inch longer than that measurement. Bring them face down on top. Make sure you have a little bit of fabric hanging out past each edge. Then stitch 1/4 inch along this edge. Press the seam on the back side, open it up and press on the top side, pressing the seam out and away from the center of the quilt. Do that on both sides. After pressing the border, then place your ruler along this long edge here and trim the corners off. So you want to go to all 4 corners and trim them off. To put on the second border, measure the 2 longest edges again and add 1 inch to that length. Cut 2 strips out that are 3.5 by that length. Stitch them on those 2 sides, stitching a 1/4 inch seam. Then press the seam on the back side, unfold, and press the seam on top. After stitching the 2 border strips on, then you need to trim the corners even with this edge here. Place your ruler right along the edge of that first border strip and then trim the edges straight. Do that on all 4 corners. Measure the 2 shorter sides from the edge of the second border strip. Then add 1 inch to that measurement and cut out 2 strips that are that length by 3.5 inches wide. Stitch them on each end of the quilt. Stitch a 1/4 inch seam. Press the seams on the back, unfold, and press on top, pressing the seams away from the center of the quilt. Then you're going to cut all of the corners off, even with the border strip on the sides. So cut all 4 corners off. For the third border, your strips are 4.5 inches wide. So follow the same process for measuring and putting it on as you did the border strip 1 and 2. So first measure your 2 longest edges, add 1 inch, cut them 4.5 inches wide, stitch them on, press, then do the 2 shorter edges the same way. For more quilt project ideas, go to the green screen at the end of this video and click on the links. If you like this video, would you please click on thumbs up, and don't forget to click on that share button to share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go to that button in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Don't forget to enter your email address and click on the little bell so you receive email notifications to your phone. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny. See you next time, and happy sewing!